Hi there. I'm going to take the reins on this one a little bit. Just jump in here. Today we're talking all about tags. Everything from power tags, weakness tags, crew tags, everything tags. Where they come from, how to get them, how to use them, how to lose them. That being said, you want to start us off and cover what we covered last time.
Power tags. They're kind of the tags in general, I guess. Really, are really kind of the backbone of what makes this game.
They're your stats.
And you're gonna start off the game with your crew theme, your logos theme, and your mythos theme. Each one of these is going to have 3 power tags and 1 weakness.
Yes.
To start off, your first tag in these slots is going to kind of be what we're calling the core.
The heart of that theme.
For example, magnetism. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect example of it.
If it's a bastion, it's the heart of what gives your bastion their defense.
Colossus skin, Hulk indestructibility.
And like that. Each theme type is going to have a different question for that. It's not in the starter set, it's in the core book, and if you need one, we have a discount down there below. That being said, each theme is going to be different. They all have different questions. Example, adaptation has the heart question, the core question is what Mythos power allows you to respond differently to every situation, whether that be you have a spell book, or you have a genie, or whatever. While the Bastion is what quality or ability granted by your Mythos most often protects you.
Yep. And under each of those, you're going to have 2 more questions that you're going to have to... Well, actually, I'll go ahead and we'll pull it up right here so you can kind of see a...
Example?
There's, I want to say, like, there's 8 or 10 questions somewhere around there, which are each going to pertain to a letter. Within these letters, you're only going to be able to use them one time. Yes. And this is how the game kind of balances itself, so you can't sit here and spam abilities that are essentially similar to the same thing and basically have maximum roll bonuses, or power as this game calls it, on each roll. One thing that you can also use that is a nice little tool that the MC can kind of put on the table, pun intended, is you can basically set up what we would call like a power cap. Yes. Honestly, in our experience in the game sessions that we're playing, I would say 3, maybe 4 at most, but I think 4 is kind of a little overkill in my opinion. I think having a solid lock on 3 is good, because realistically at that point, if you roll at least a 1 and a 2, you're essentially already getting a success.
Right.
And a rough success, but a success.
It's kind of built that way. It's a little bit built into the system. In the player's guide and the MC guide, it actually says, hey, your players can do this, and you should be mindful that they can do this.
And the idea is to, again, get away from having those tags and those powers, essentially, that you can just use in all these different circumstances. Although you do start off with the option to get 1 broad power tag, and once you start leveling up and you start adding those tension marks to your character, one of the options that you can get, and we'll have another video on essentially level progression, is what we would look at as like a D&D thing, but this game calls it moments of
growth. I don't remember.
Moments of evolution,
something like that. I think so. Yeah.
You do get the option to choose another broad power tag. It will also allow you to, and this is going to segue to another thing, weaknesses within that as well.
And weaknesses are the same thing. In the player's guidebook, there is a whole list of questions that have the weakness, that tie to the weakness, and there's one for the crew, there's one for the theme, or for the logos, there's one for the mythos. Each kind of theme, they all have their own weakness questions. It's answer one of those when you start, and that is your weakness. And anytime that you want to apply it, cool, you apply it. Or anytime the MC feels like, hey, you're doing the thing that you're not supposed to do, your weakness is going to come in here.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
You want to use your weakness realistically as often as possible,
because combating your weakness is how you find growth.
That's basically it's weird, because it's essentially how, the fade and crack, which we kind of touched on in our last video. When you start to do that stuff, is essentially how you're going to grow as a character. And it's also going to let you gain more abilities and more powers.
So in the set of different things you can do as a player, there's a thing called burning tags. And this is a downside sometimes that an MC can invoke, where it says, "Oh, you failed. You're going to burn that tag. You can't use it again." From a player side, how would you use the burning attack? Willingly.
The way the book has it laid out is it's basically you're rolling a 10, so it's an instant success. It's not the dynamite success,
right?
But it's an instant success. But the catch being, once you decide to make that, you can no longer use that tag in any shape or form until you get to the montage/downtime to basically recuperate some of that stuff.
Not necessarily even into the case, but in between sessions.
Yeah, just need downtime.
In between sessions, I think you can get one back. At the end of the case, you end up getting all of them back. But it's a guaranteed, hey, I'm going to succeed at this no matter what. Cool. Great. Go ahead and burn that. You can't use that anymore. Which is just super neat.
Yes, it is definitely worth noting, too, that although you have burned that tag and you may have other tags that may apply to this certain situation, because you're getting the instant success, unfortunately, you're not able to use those other tags stacked with that.
So that's burnt tags. Let's talk about attention a little bit. Where does attention come from? How is it rewarded? What's it used for?
So, touching back on what we just kind of talked about briefly, attention is essentially what I would consider the XP in this game.
Yeah.
Anytime you invoke your weakness, whether it is by player choice or by MC choice, you basically get a negative modifier essentially on your dice roll. So when you're rolling and you're applying your weakness to whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever move you are trying to accomplish, you are going to be subtracting 1 from your overall roll. But you're like, oh, that sucks. But wait, there's more. You will also then, whether you succeed or fail on that, you will be able to go ahead and basically apply attention to whatever theme that you have decided to use that weakness on.
Specifically, whatever one that specific weakness comes from, you get attention for that if successful. And once you have 3 of those, you get a list that you get to choose from, and it's everything from choosing a brand new power tag to add to that theme, adding or removing or changing your weakness to something else. You can only remove if you have 2 or more, because you always have to have a minimum of 1. Choosing a new theme improvement, which we'll go over the improvements at some point, because I feel like those are a video on themselves.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And then resetting your fade or crack, because if you get 3 of those, then it completely flips.
And when it flips, you do essentially can go from a logos to a mythos and a mythos to logos, kind of what we talked about in the video prior to this one. And I'll put that right up here. But what's going to happen when you do that, as opposed to starting fresh, like with a brand new theme, but there's a caveat being you only start with 1 power tag and 1 weakness, at which point you're going to have to kind of, again, play into that weakness essentially to kind of get that to bump up a little bit.
And for the MCs who might be watching this, just to kind of get an idea what the player is going to be using, or helping their players develop stuff, you can give new weakness tags as a major downside.
Oh, dude, you jump off a building, you fail a roll, you've got a broken leg.
Cool, that's a major weakness tag for a while. You can give power. Well, really, you can give anything as a story tag if it's a recurring thing. But weakness tags are a big thing, I think, that we've overlooked a little bit so far, that I feel like we're going to get into more. It's easy to overlook it.
It's easy to overlook them. One thing that we would definitely recommend that you have the discussion with your table. And it's okay to not know if you should apply your weakness. Like, for example, my character has an obsession with he needs to get things done. I kind of played into my ADHD thing a little bit, where I'm basically, it's always sunny. But if you're confused and not sure as to when to apply your weakness, just ask your MC.
Hey, can I apply my weakness to this? I do like the idea, and I'm not 100% sure if it's in the book or not, but I like the idea of if you apply a weakness, or if you have to use your weakness tag, you don't get any other bonuses.
If that were to be like a house rule,
I like it as a house rule.
I think that's good, because basically what can happen, and this is kind of exactly
the tension.
It's more risk reward, because if you if you decide to go ahead and use your weakness, you can definitely use your power tags in the game per what the book says. So you basically got, all right, I've got +3, I'm adding my weakness, now it's +2, or I've got +3, and then my weakness, all right, I'm going to subtract it, now it's still
At that point, the weakness kind of loses a little bit of the
and I
feeling
think you start
of
power gaming at that point.
But all that being said, crew tags are the exact same way.
Going through and creating your crew tag will allow you to kind of, at least in my opinion, kind of set the precedence of like how you know these characters.
Yes. How the characters know each other.
How they know each other, what you are good at as a team,
Yeah.
and weakness-wise, what you are not so good at as a team. Or maybe you're too good.
True, and I love y'all's weakness tag. I think it's great.
We're poor.
You're broke. They're a bunch of broke PIs, and it's hilarious. But all that being said, the next video we're gonna make.
Calling it now. Next video, Mythos logos.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably do a couple Mythos each video until we're through with those, and then a couple logos each video, because each one is very unique.
There's so many.
Each question on each one of the Mythos is entirely different from every question on a different Mythos. They're similar, but they're entirely different at the same time. So until then, you can find us on...
Catch us on Twitter. We have a Twitter now, _FaderChance_. That's both Twitter and Instagram. You can catch my personal Twitter if that's something you'd like to hang out and talk to me on, @Chambo.
Mine's around here somewhere. Also, you can talk to us on Discord, and we have a stream coming up on Sunday. Here.
Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be transitioning our streams from Twitch here to YouTube to just keep it all under kind of one umbrella.
Make it a little bit easier for y'all, make it a little bit easier for us. Keep it all right
It's
here.
easier to keep it in one spot.
But until then, thank you for watching, and be awesome.
Stay excellent, and don't forget to love each other.
Yeah.
Peace.